Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly attract everything they desire while you struggle, no matter how hard you try? What if I told you that hidden within an ancient text lies a secret so powerful that it was deliberately concealed from the masses for centuries? A secret that could completely transform the way you manifest your reality. Type "I am ready" in the comments if you're prepared to unlock this ancient wisdom. And if you feel the energy shifting already, hit that like button. Because what you're about to discover will change everything you thought you knew about manifestation. Right now, in this very moment, there exists a gap between the reality you're living and the reality you deeply desire. You've tried affirmations, visualizations, positive thinking. Perhaps you've even studied the law of attraction. Yet something essential is still missing. The abundance you seek feels just out of reach, like trying to grasp water with your hands. You know you're meant for more, but there's an invisible barrier you can't seem to break through. What if that barrier exists because you've been given only half the truth? Deep within the mystical teachings of Neville Goddard lies a practice so profound, so transformative, that it bridges the gap between the physical and the spiritual, between desire and fulfillment. This isn't just another manifestation technique. This is the ancient art of communion with your own divine nature, a practice that the greatest mystics, prophets, and awakened beings have used throughout history to bend reality itself. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal to you the hidden dimensions of Neville's communion technique, the parts that are rarely discussed, the secrets that unlock its true power. You'll discover why most people fail at manifestation, the invisible force that's been blocking your desires, and the exact method to dissolve that barrier forever. This is not theory. This is practical mysticism that works when you understand its deeper layers. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to learn cannot be unlearned. Once you see this truth, your entire relationship with reality will shift. To understand the true power of what we're about to explore, we must first journey back through the veils of time, into the mystery schools of ancient civilizations where this knowledge was born. Long before Neville Goddard walked the earth, long before the modern world reduced manifestation to mere positive thinking, there existed sacred teachings about the nature of consciousness and reality. Teachings so potent that they were hidden within symbols, parables, and rituals, accessible only to those who had eyes to see and ears to hear. Neville Goddard, born in 1905 in Barbados, was not merely a teacher or a lecturer. He was a modern mystic who cracked the code of ancient wisdom and translated it into a language that the contemporary seeker could understand. But where did his knowledge originate? Neville himself spoke of studying with an Ethiopian rabbi named Abdullah, a mysterious figure who introduced him to the esoteric interpretations of biblical scripture. Abdullah taught Neville that the Bible was not a historical record, but a psychological drama, a blueprint of consciousness itself, written in the language of symbolism and metaphor. This understanding traces back to the Hermetic traditions of ancient Egypt, to the Kabbalistic mysteries of Jewish mysticism, and to the Gnostic teachings that proclaimed, "The kingdom of God is within you." These ancient schools understood what modern science is only now beginning to confirm, that consciousness is not a byproduct of matter, but the very foundation of reality itself. The mystics knew that the external world is a mirror, a reflection of the inner world of imagination and belief. In the mystery schools of Egypt, initiates underwent rigorous training in what was called divine imagination. They understood that the gods were not external beings to be worshipped, but states of consciousness to be embodied. The Egyptian concept of Ka, the spiritual double, parallels exactly what Neville taught about imagination creating reality. Your Ka, your imaginal self, was considered more real than your physical form because it existed in the eternal realm of consciousness, beyond the limitations of time and space. The Hebrew mystical tradition of Kabbalah speaks of the Tselem Elohim, being created in the image of God. But what does this truly mean? It means that you possess the same creative power as the divine source itself. Your imagination is not a mere fantasy generator. It is the workshop of God within you. When you imagine, you are engaging in the same act of creation that brought the universe into existence. As it says in Genesis, "And God said, 'Let there be light,' and there was light." The Word, the imagined reality spoken into form, became flesh. Neville's communion technique is rooted in this ancient understanding. It draws directly from the biblical practice of prayer, but not prayer as begging or pleading with an external deity. True prayer, as taught in the mystery traditions, is the act of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, of communing with your own divine nature, your higher self, your God self. Jesus taught, "When you pray, believe that you have already received and you shall have it." This is not metaphor. This is literal instruction in the mechanics of creation. Throughout history, this knowledge has been simultaneously revealed and concealed. The Rosicrucians encoded it in alchemical symbols. The Freemasons preserved it in ritual and degree work. Mystics like Meister Eckhart, Jacob Boehme, and William Blake spoke of it in poetry and vision. But it was always hidden from the uninitiated, protected from those who might misuse it or dismiss it as mere superstition. The truth was considered too dangerous, too powerful for the unprepared mind. What makes Neville's teaching so revolutionary is that he stripped away all the ceremonial complexity and revealed the naked truth. Imagination is God. Your consciousness is the only reality. Everything else is a reflection, a shadow cast by the light of your awareness. And the communion technique is the direct method of impressing your subconscious mind, the creative power within you, with the reality you desire to experience. This is not New Age fantasy. This is the perennial philosophy, the golden thread that runs through all genuine spiritual traditions. And you are about to learn how to wield it with precision and power. Now we arrive at the heart of the mystery, the sacred mechanics of how communion truly works and why it possesses such transformative power. Most people approach manifestation like ordering from a cosmic menu, making requests to an external universe and hoping something delivers. But communion is entirely different. It is not communication with something outside of you. It is the merging of your conscious mind with your subconscious mind, the finite self with the infinite self, the human with the divine. Imagine for a moment that you are living in two worlds simultaneously. There is the outer world, the world of physical objects, circumstances, and events that you perceive with your five senses. And there is the inner world, the world of imagination, feeling, and consciousness that exists beyond the limitations of time and space. Most people believe the outer world is the real world, and the inner world is just fantasy, just imagination. But Neville revealed the shocking truth that the mystics have always known. The inner world is the only real world. The outer world is merely its shadow, its reflection, its inevitable consequence. Your subconscious mind is the creative power that builds your reality. It is the master architect, the divine artist, the invisible force that arranges circumstances, synchronicities, and events to match the patterns impressed upon it. But here's what most people don't understand. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what you imagine and what you perceive with your physical senses. To your subconscious, an imagined experience that is felt as real is real. It accepts whatever you impress upon it as fact and immediately begins to externalize it in your physical world. This is why communion is so incredibly powerful. It is the deliberate act of impressing your subconscious mind with a desired reality by entering into a state of deep relaxation and communing, merging with the feeling of your wish already fulfilled. You're not sending a request out into the universe. You're literally reprogramming the creative power within you by feeding it a new set of instructions, a new pattern, a new blueprint. Think of your subconscious mind like the soil of a garden. It doesn't care what seeds you plant. It will grow whatever you give it, weeds or flowers, poison or nourishment. It is completely impersonal, completely neutral. It simply accepts and creates. When you worry, doubt, or focus on lack, you're planting seeds of limitation. When you commune with the feeling of your desire fulfilled, you're planting seeds of abundance. The soil doesn't judge, it simply grows what you plant. But there's a crucial element that most people miss, and this is where the true power lies. The feeling. Neville emphasized over and over that you must not just visualize your desire, but you must feel it as already real. Why? Because feeling is the secret language of the subconscious mind. Your subconscious doesn't respond to words or images alone. It responds to the emotional frequency, the vibrational signature of your imaginal act. When you commune, you're creating what Neville called the state of the wish fulfilled. You're not imagining yourself getting something in the future. You're imagining from the end result, as if it has already happened. There's a world of difference between these two approaches. If you imagine yourself wanting something, you impress the pattern of wanting onto your subconscious, and it will continue to create experiences of wanting. But if you imagine from the state of already having it, you impress the pattern of fulfillment, and your subconscious begins to reorganize your entire reality to match that pattern. This is where the communion technique becomes almost miraculous. In the moments just before sleep, your conscious mind, the analytical, critical, doubting mind, begins to relax its grip. The barrier between conscious and subconscious becomes thin, permeable. This is the golden threshold, the sacred doorway. Ancient mystics called this the hypnagogic state, the twilight zone between waking and sleeping. In this state, you have direct access to the subconscious mind, unfiltered by doubt or logic. Neville taught that you should use this precious time deliberately. As you lie in bed, relaxed and drowsy, you enter into a scene. A short, simple scene that implies your desire is already fulfilled. Not a scene of you getting what you want, but a scene that could only happen after you already have it. You loop this scene, repeating it over and over, feeling the reality of it, until you fall asleep, saturated in that feeling. Why does this work with such precision? Because as you drift into sleep while dwelling in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you carry that impression directly into the subconscious mind without interference. Your last thoughts and feelings before sleep are like seeds planted in the most fertile soil imaginable. While your body sleeps, your subconscious mind works tirelessly through the night, rearranging the patterns of your reality to match the blueprint you've given it. This is not visualization for the sake of fantasy. This is consciousness engineering. You are literally reshaping the quantum field of infinite possibilities with the power of your focused imagination and feeling. Science has discovered that observation collapses the wave function, that consciousness affects matter at the quantum level. What the mystics taught for millennia, physics is now confirming. You are not a powerless observer in a mechanical universe. You are a creator, a co-author of reality itself. Now we must go deeper still into the hidden dimensions of this practice that separate those who experience sporadic results from those who completely transform their reality. There is a sacred paradox at the heart of communion that most seekers stumble over, and understanding this paradox is the key that unlocks everything. The paradox is this: you must desire intensely enough to motivate the practice, yet you must commune from a place of already having, which requires the complete absence of desire. How can you hold both simultaneously? This is the razor's edge that ancient mystics spoke of, the narrow gate through which few pass. The answer lies in understanding the difference between desire and assumption. Desire says, I want this because I don't have it. Desire is born from lack, from the gap between where you are and where you want to be. And while desire can fuel your initial intention, if you bring that energy of lack into your communion, you will only impress the pattern of wanting onto your subconscious. You will perpetually create experiences that keep you in a state of wanting, never having. This is the trap that ensnares millions who practice manifestation techniques, yet see no results. Assumption, however, is entirely different. Assumption says, it is already mine, it is already done. Assumption is the state of consciousness that Neville called living in the end. When you assume something is true, you don't hope for it, you don't wish for it, you don't even believe in it as something separate from you. You simply accept it as fact. Just as you assume the sun will rise tomorrow, just as you assume gravity will hold you to the earth, you assume your desire is already fulfilled in the invisible realm of consciousness. Here's where it becomes even more profound. Neville taught that your three-dimensional reality is simply the outcropping, the shadow, of the fourth-dimensional world of imagination. What exists in imagination first must eventually harden into physical fact, just as a seed beneath the soil must eventually break through into visible form. The time lag between imagining and manifesting is not a flaw in the system. It's a mercy. It gives you time to change your mind, to refine your vision, to ensure that what you're impressing upon your subconscious is truly what you want. But this time lag is also where faith is tested. After you've performed your communion, after you've impressed the subconscious with the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you must then walk through your daily life as if it is already done. This doesn't mean pretending or living in denial of current circumstances. It means maintaining the inner conviction, the inner knowing, that the invisible reality you've communed with is more real than the visible circumstances you perceive. This is what separates the masters from the novices. The novice communes at night and then wakes up each morning scanning the physical world for evidence, for proof that it's working. And when they don't see immediate results, doubt creeps in. They commune again the next night, but now with less conviction, less feeling, because doubt has contaminated their consciousness. They've planted the seed, but then immediately dig it up to check if it's growing. The seed never has a chance to take root. The master understands that the real work happens in consciousness, not in the physical world. The master knows that once the impression has been made upon the subconscious mind with sufficient feeling and intensity, the physical manifestation is inevitable. It's not a matter of if, but when. And the when is determined by the depth of the impression and the constancy of the assumption. The master communes assumes it is done and then releases all anxiety about the how and the when. They live from the end, maintaining the inner state of fulfillment regardless of what the outer senses report. There's another layer to this that Neville rarely spoke about directly, but it's encoded in his teachings for those with spiritual perception. When you commune with the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you're not just impressing your personal subconscious mind. You're tapping into the universal subconscious, the collective consciousness, the divine mind that connects all things. Your individual consciousness is like a wave in the ocean. When you commune, you're diving beneath the surface of your individual wave into the depths of the ocean itself, where all possibilities exist as potential. In this deep place, there is no separation between you and what you desire. There is no distance, no obstacle, no impossibility. Everything already exists as a pattern, a template, a potential reality waiting to be activated by consciousness. When you commune from the state of the wish fulfilled, you're not creating something from nothing. You're selecting from infinite possibilities and collapsing that particular probability into your experienced reality. But here's the element that transforms communion from mere technique into sacred practice: gratitude. When you commune with your desire as already fulfilled, you must feel genuine gratitude, not for what you're going to get, but for what you already have in consciousness. This gratitude is not an emotion you force or fake. It arises naturally when you truly commune with the reality of your fulfilled desire. You feel grateful in the same way you feel grateful for anything you already possess and cherish. This feeling of gratitude is the seal, the signature, the energetic stamp that confirms to your subconscious mind that this is real, this is done, this is accomplished. Gratitude cannot coexist with doubt or lack. When you feel truly grateful for something, you're acknowledging its reality in your experience. And that acknowledgement is the final ingredient that activates the entire process. Now comes the moment where ancient wisdom transforms into lived experience, where knowledge becomes power through application. Everything we've explored, the philosophy, the mechanics, the hidden dimensions of consciousness, all of it means nothing unless you put it into practice. What I'm about to share with you is the exact step-by-step method to perform Neville's communion technique with precision and potency. This is not theory anymore. This is your roadmap to reshaping reality. The first step begins long before you close your eyes at night. It begins with clarity. You must know exactly what you want to experience, not a vague wish, not a general hope, but a specific end result. The subconscious mind works with images and feelings, not with abstractions. So you must crystallize your desire into a single scene, a short, simple scene that implies your desire has already been fulfilled. This scene should be something that would naturally occur after you already have what you want. For example, if you desire financial abundance, don't imagine receiving money. Instead, imagine a scene that could only happen if you already had the abundance. Perhaps seeing a specific large balance in your bank account, or a friend congratulating you on your success, or yourself purchasing something you've always wanted without a second thought about cost. The scene should be brief enough to loop easily in your mind, yet specific enough to feel real and tangible. Once you have your scene, the second step is to identify the feeling. What emotion would you experience in that moment? Not excitement about getting something, but the deep satisfaction, peace or joy of already having it. This is crucial. You're not reaching for a future feeling. You're stepping into a present feeling. Close your eyes right now and recall a moment when you achieved something you deeply desired. Remember that feeling of fulfillment, that sense of, it is done. That's the frequency you need to access during communion. The third step is the preparation of your consciousness. Each night, as you prepare for bed, create a ritual that signals to your mind and body that you're entering sacred time. Dim the lights. Silence your phone. Lie down in a comfortable position, typically on your back. Take several deep, slow breaths, releasing all the tension from your body. Feel your muscles relax, starting from your toes and moving up through your legs, your torso, your arms, your neck, your face. This physical relaxation is essential because it quiets the conscious mind and opens the doorway to the subconscious. As your body relaxes, your awareness naturally begins to shift. You're entering that precious hypnagogic state, the threshold between waking and sleeping. Don't fight drowsiness. Welcome it. This drowsy state is not an obstacle to your practice. It's the optimal condition for it. Your critical mind is loosening its grip, your defenses are down, and your subconscious is most receptive to new impressions. Now comes the communion itself, the fourth and most vital step. In this relaxed, drowsy state, gently bring your imaginal scene to life. See it from the first-person perspective, through your own eyes, not watching yourself from outside like a movie. Hear what you would hear. Feel what you would touch. Engage all your senses to make it as vivid and real as possible. But remember, the sensory details are just the vehicle. The feeling is the destination. As you run this scene in your imagination, loop it, repeat it over and over, like a short film playing continuously in your mind. Each time you loop it, try to intensify the feeling of reality, the feeling of, this is happening now, this is real, this is done. Don't strain or force it. Let it be effortless, natural, like remembering something that actually happened rather than imagining something that might happen. Here's a powerful secret that amplifies the technique. Add a physical anchor. As you loop your scene and feel the reality of it, place your hand over your heart or hold your hands together in a specific way. This creates a physical association with the feeling state. Over time, this anchor becomes a trigger. Even during your waking hours, when you use that same physical gesture, it will instantly reconnect you to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The fifth step is persistence coupled with surrender. You must persist in this practice night after night, especially in the beginning when doubt tries to creep in. Neville recommended doing this every night until you feel the inner conviction that it is done. Some desires may require only a few nights of communion before that conviction solidifies. Others may require weeks or even months. But here's the key. You're not repeating the practice because it didn't work. You're repeating it to deepen the impression, to saturate your consciousness so completely with the new assumption that it becomes your natural state. Yet simultaneously, you must surrender the outcome. This seems contradictory, but it's not. You persist in the practice while surrendering the how, the when, and the specific path of manifestation. Your job is to commune with the end result. The universe's job, or more accurately, your subconscious mind's job, is to arrange the circumstances that bring it into physical form. When you try to control the process, when you micromanage the details, you're operating from your limited conscious mind instead of trusting the infinite intelligence of your subconscious. During your waking hours, practice living from the end. This is the 6th step. Throughout your day, whenever you think of your desire, don't think of it as something you're trying to get. Think from it as something you already have. If thoughts of doubt or lack arise, gently redirect your consciousness back to the feeling of fulfillment. This doesn't mean denying current circumstances. It means not giving them more power than the reality you're building in consciousness. One of the most common obstacles people face is impatience. They commune for a few nights and then obsessively check the physical world for changes. This checking is actually counterproductive because it comes from doubt, from the belief that it isn't working. Instead, trust the process. Imagine planting a seed in the ground. You don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You trust that beneath the surface, invisible forces are at work. The same is true with communion. The moment you impress your subconscious with sufficient feeling and conviction, the work is done in consciousness. The physical manifestation will follow according to natural law. Finally, the 7th step is integration and renewal. As you experience the manifestation of your desires, and you will, use that success to deepen your faith and understanding. Each manifestation is proof of the principle, evidence that consciousness truly is the only reality. Let your successes build your confidence so that you approach your next desire with even greater conviction and less doubt. And here's something beautiful. As you master communion with smaller desires, you'll begin to realize that the size of the desire doesn't matter. Whether you're manifesting a parking space or $1 million, the principle is exactly the same. The only difference is the depth of belief and assumption you bring to it. A small desire feels easy to believe in, so it manifests quickly. A large desire may require more work to build the assumption, but the mechanism is identical. Use this practice not just for material desires, but for healing, for relationships, for inner peace, for spiritual awakening itself. Neville taught that you can commune with any state of consciousness and make it your lived reality. You can commune with the feeling of being healthy, being loved, being confident, being enlightened. Whatever state you can imagine and feel as real, you can become. This is your inheritance, your birthright as a conscious being. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are the creator of circumstances. And communion is your tool, your practice, your direct line to the infinite creative power that dwells within you. And so we arrive at the end of this journey, yet truly, this is only the beginning. Everything you've discovered in these moments, the ancient wisdom, the hidden mechanics of consciousness, the sacred practice of communion, all of it has been leading you to this singular realization. You are not separate from the creative power of the universe. You are that power, clothed in human form, experiencing itself through the adventure of physical existence. Think back to where we began, to that question about why some people effortlessly attract their desires while others struggle endlessly. Now you know the answer. It's not luck, it's not worthiness, it's not cosmic favoritism. It's understanding. Those who manifest with ease have discovered, whether consciously or unconsciously, what you now know, that reality is not a fixed external condition imposed upon you, but a fluid reflection of the states of consciousness you inhabit. They have learned to commune with their desires as already fulfilled, to impress their subconscious mind with the feeling of completion rather than the anxiety of lack. You now possess the same knowledge that the ancient mystics guarded in their mystery schools, the same principle that Jesus taught in parables, the same truth that Neville decoded from Scripture and shared with the world. But knowledge alone changes nothing. It's the application of knowledge that transforms lives. The communion technique is not something to merely understand intellectually. It's something to practice devotedly, to live experientially, to embody completely. Tonight, as you lie down to sleep, you have a choice. You can drift into unconsciousness passively, allowing your habitual thoughts and feelings to impress themselves upon your subconscious by default. Or you can take command of your creative power and deliberately commune with the reality you choose to experience. You can plant the seed of your fulfilled desire in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind and trust that what is done in consciousness must inevitably appear in physical form. Remember the paradox we explored. You must desire intensely enough to motivate action, yet commune from a place of already having, which transcends desire. This is the razor's edge, the narrow gate. But you don't walk this path through force or strain. You walk it through surrender, surrendering the anxiety of lack, surrendering the need to control how and when, surrendering into the feeling of fulfillment itself. When you can rest in that feeling, when you can fall asleep saturated in the reality of your wish fulfilled, you have mastered the art. And as you practice, as you witness your imaginal acts hardening into physical facts, something even more profound will begin to happen. You'll start to see through the illusion of the external world. You'll recognize that everything, every person, every circumstance, every challenge, every blessing is you pushed out, consciousness reflecting itself back to you. This recognition is the doorway to true freedom, to liberation from the tyranny of circumstances. Your imagination is not a frivolous faculty for daydreaming and fantasy. It is the most sacred gift you possess, the divine workshop where all creation begins. Every master, every saint, every prophet who ever walked this earth used this same power, whether they called it prayer, meditation, visualization, or communion. The words are different, but the principle is eternal and unchanging. Consciousness is the only reality, and imagination creates reality. So I leave you with this final truth, this ancient secret that has the power to revolutionize your entire existence. You are already the person you wish to become. You already possess everything you desire. Not in some distant future, not in some parallel universe, but right now, in the eternal present of consciousness. The only thing standing between you and the full experience of that reality is the assumption you hold about yourself. Change your assumption. Commune with your wish fulfilled. Persist until the inner conviction solidifies. And watch as your entire world rearranges itself to match the pattern you've impressed upon the infinite creative power within you. The ancient mystics were right. The kingdom of heaven is within you, not as a place you go to after death, but as a state of consciousness you can enter right now, tonight, as you close your eyes and commune with your desires as already fulfilled. If this knowledge has ignited something within you, if you feel the truth of these words resonating in your soul, show your support by hitting that like button. And type, "It is done," in the comments to seal your commitment to this practice. Share this video with anyone who's ready to awaken to their true creative power, because this wisdom is too precious to keep to yourself. The power is yours. It has always been yours. Now go forth and create the reality you were born to experience. The universe is waiting for your command, and that command comes not through words, but through the silent communion of consciousness, assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It is done.